There we go. Welcome everyone. Hi, how are we all doing today? We will just give a bit of time to get everyone to join us and we would get started. But let's just continue and we would go ahead with introductions. And after that, we will just look into what SwiftXR is itself. Then we would go into our live demo for today and we would be happy to take questions at the end of the session as well. Hi, everyone. My name's Oluwatosin. I'm the technical community manager here at SwiftXR, and I have an amazing colleague here as well with me, Isiak.
Hi everyone, my name is Isiak and I'm the co-founder and head of growth at SwiftXR. Welcome to today's session and we cannot wait to see what we are able to do together.
Great, thank you so much. So, just to continue, I would just give everything to Isiak to just tell us a bit of what SwiftXR is and what SwiftXR is capable of doing at the moment.
Let's do it. So, this is a quick overview of what we do here at SwiftXR and I'm just going to be taking us through like a kind of short introduction to SwiftXR. So at SwiftXR, we basically are enabling you to share 3D assets easily using AR and VR. And we are doing this right on the web. So you don't have to think about installing any applications before you can experience a quick augmented and virtual reality product in your environment. So today we'll be looking at three major things. I'm going to be doing the introduction to SwiftXR properly, and I'm also going to talk about some use cases that we have seen. Uh, just show us like a few projects that people have worked on using SwiftXR, and Tosin is going to take it from there, to the live demo where he's going to show us exactly why we are here today. And basically, the reason why we are here today is for us to look at like how can you use Shopify to build an interactive 3D AR and VR enabled product website. So a quick introduction is that SwiftXR is, of course, like is a no-code platform. A no-code means that you don't have to write any code. Think of code things like JavaScript, C Sharp, even HTML, things that are, no matter how simple the code is, SwiftXR is saying that, build an interactive website without writing any line of code. And we are enabling developers, businesses, 3D and 2D artists to create interactive experiences on our platform. Doing this is going to give you three major boosts. First one is going to reduce your publishing time by 99%. So what that means is that you don't have to, again, like we said earlier, so since you are not doing the bulk of the work, your own is to have the 3D assets that you are going to be using, bring it to SwiftXR, and we are going to handle pretty much. And the things that we are going to be handling include file formats, conversion, and compression. We are going to be, handling even hosting it on the website for you. Just press the publish button on SwiftXR, and immediately you are going to have a live URL. And we are also going to save you development efforts again by 99%. So what this means is that you don't have to do you don't have to do majority of the development work. And on SwiftXR, we are reducing, I think this is one of the interesting things about using SwiftXR because we are reducing publishing costs by almost 98%. So what it's going to literally take you to build a prototype website or a website that is enabled with 3D, AR, and VR, we are saying that, keep 98% of this cost and just come to SwiftXR by credit and you are good to go. And why should you use SwiftXR? So there are a few reasons why we think you should use SwiftXR and maybe why now is a good time for us as a business and for you to start leveraging 3D augmented reality and virtual reality applications or products on your website. There are over 3.1 billion mobile devices already positioned globally to take advantage of augmented and virtual reality, which means that even an average mobile phone these days can go into AR and also give you VR experiences right on the web. And this is where SwiftXR is. And by 2020, or as at 2020, people have spent more than 18.8 billion US dollars to create AR VR experiences. Like the old AR/VR market even started booming less than 10 years ago, and people have already spent this much within the few years. So why not be part of this and also take advantage of it and be one of the bespoke businesses out there? And one of the other things that is very interesting is that 71%, after conducting user research and doing going up and down asking questions globally, this is not just SwiftXR based or like not like continent based. 71%, it was found out that 71% of consumers would buy more or interact more with your website or your platform if you are using AR, especially. So, what else are you waiting for? What else are we also are we waiting for? Why are we not going to create a platform that's going to make it easy for you to come in, drop your 3D model, and you are immediately able to see it in augmented reality and virtual reality? So, what is our focus as a business? Our focus basically is to say that we are looking at non-technical users, and what that means is that since we are saying that don't come and write code, so basically, non-technical users are one of our major targets, which means this can be businesses who don't really want to think about, hiring augmented and virtual reality applications or to be able to enable their products to use 3D AR or VR. And another thing that we are targeting is the ease of use. In anything we do, we want to keep the same workflow for all the components that we are going to be working with on SwiftXR. And we want to make sure that even as we are keeping this workflow, we are making it as easy as possible. No technical gibberish and no technical steps. Just a normal click that you are going to do even on your phone or on your computer. Then developers looking for quick iteration and prototyping. So even if you are writing code and you want to write code, right? So before we didn't even have API, but now we have our API live. So you can take our API and you can just integrate it into anything that you are currently building. That works. Artists who want to showcase their products, can come in, use SwiftXR. It can be 2D artists, it can be 3D, not necessarily just 3D. So 2D artists, you have created like a very really cool artwork and you want people to see it. So we are saying, come to SwiftXR, drop your artwork. Instead of carrying this artwork everywhere you go, just to show people or like just showing you the picture of it to people on your mobile phone, why not allow them interact with it and feel the ownership of this artwork even before they make a purchase? And the same thing with 3D models, right? So, are you selling furniture? Are you working in the fashion space? Why not allow people to have an experience of these things that you are building, these things that you are selling before they even make a purchase? And again, last but not the least, this is just like an iteration I've mentioned it quite earlier about businesses that want to boost their clients' engagement. You want people to interact more with your products, you want people to buy more, you want to make more money basically, because like that's the goal of you being a business, and that's what's going to keep you in business. Make more money. Yeah, use your steps out, your life is going to be easier, and you are going to learn to make more money. How does it work on SwiftXR? So on SwiftXR, there are four major steps. Actually, there are just four steps for you to do anything you want to do on SwiftXR. The first one is to go there, create a project. The same way you are going to open a folder on your mobile on your computer. So you're saying create a project, then drop your 2D or 3D file. You see what happened there, just drop the file. Then once you are done dropping the file, press the publish button, and immediately you are going to have a URL that is available across devices, be it an iPhone, an Android mobile phone, iOS, I mean, any iOS products, iPad, or even tablets, or even on your computer. So we have a fallback mechanism that works with the 3D viewer. If your mobile phone or the gadgets that you are currently using does not support AR, for instance, your computer, our computers cannot scan our environment and place a digital object, maybe not quite yet, without any external tool being hanged on it. So we are saying that you can still experience these objects in 3D without actually bringing it to your environment. And these are like a few stats of what's going on or what's been going on, like what people are doing with SwiftXR and why you should care, or like basically what people experience. Not really what people do with SwiftXR, it is more like our competitive analysis. Like, you can see this, like this is somewhere where you have to pay like $2,700 a month for you to build something. Another one is saying that pay $95 a month, or if you are doing pro, pay $535 a month. Like we have quite a lot of crazy prices out there. But SwiftXR is saying that you don't need to pay this huge amounts of money before you can even publish anything. Come, drag your assets into the platform, press publish. The way it works on SwiftXR is that, because you might be thinking, okay, so how then do you make money? So like you might, if you are thinking that way, definitely that's a valid thing for you to think about. On SwiftXR, I'm gonna go there a little bit. So on SwiftXR, you come, you buy credits. Credit on SwiftXR is tagged to the size of assets that you are actually trying to publish. So one credit on SwiftXR is equal to, I think $2. So that's it is as simple as that. And one credit is equal to 1 MB on SwiftXR. So if your asset is just 5 MB, that means you need 5 SwiftXR credits to publish what you want to publish, and you are good to go. Now for all projects you publish on SwiftXR, there is a 2,500 view counts to it, a free one, that comes with it. So why not take advantage of this? Why do you want to pay like extra? Why do you want to pay extra $2,888 to keep your project live for a year? All right. Um, our use case is, what are the possible things that has been created? Going forward, we are going to update this and even show you more recent projects that we think is really, really cool that people are not building on SwiftXR. But like I think these ones are still very interesting. At the very early stage of SwiftXR, we partnered with Cover KR to build a real estate project whereby you can take your proposed real estate property to anywhere. You want to pitch to investors, you want to pitch to even real estate buyers, and you don't need to just carry the project. You cannot just take the papers there. They need to see it and be able to interact with it. What has been involved before the introduction of SwiftXR or 3D is that they actually create a morphed 3D of the house. So maybe you might have seen something like that before, especially if you're in the architectural space, or generally you might have seen something like that. So they create something like that and they carry it up and down. Recently, I was reading news about one company that did that. Then they were going to showcase it to another company, in like a potential investor in Portugal, but on their way going, like 95% of the thing damaged. So with SwiftXR, you don't need to build any physical product like that and carry it everywhere you go. You just need your mobile phone. Once you publish the project on SwiftXR, then you just need your mobile phone to be able to showcases to anybody anywhere, 3D and AR or in VR. Then we have artwork AR. We even have a template for this. So if you are using you can use our artwork templates to bring your artwork into augmented reality or even virtual reality. So basically, you have created this very interesting 2D artwork and you want people to be able to consume it. So what we are saying is come into SwiftXR and immediately you are able to convert this to a 3D asset. We are going to handle that conversion for you. You don't need to worry about that. So you are able to convert it into a 3D asset, and immediately again you have it live, and it can be viewed in augmented reality as well. And there's this interesting blog post that was created entirely on SwiftXR. So you can see, like this is the blog post on the left hand side here. Everything was created directly on SwiftXR, even the text, all the icons, all the images that you see there, and even the 3D model that accompany this. So this is very useful when it comes to the education sector. You want to teach people about a particular concept, and you don't want them to just like look at the pictures. You want them to know exactly what this thing actually looks like. There are different ways you can get 3D models onto SwiftXR right now. So we have integrated with Shopify. We have integrated with Sketchfab. Sketchfab is where you go to most of the time to get free 3D assets. They have over 600,000 3D assets there. So there's most likely, especially if you're in the education space and your goal is to, like just bring all of these 3D assets into, just to display the 3D assets to commemorate what you are doing. Just use our use our integration with Sketchfab, and you are able to bring in any 3D assets from anywhere. And this is going to help add more life to the project or to your blog post. And that is pretty much it. I would like to welcome different sections, and you know from there I'm also going to hand over back to Tosin to take to take charge of the remaining parts of this. All right. But questions, everybody. If you have questions, please hit me up.
All right then. Thank you so much, Isiak. We would also be having a Q&A session at the end of this. So if you have any
Mhm.
questions, please feel free to put them down in the comments and we will be answering them as well. So we would be going into the live demo session very soon. So if you are going to be joining us with that, ensure you head over to swiftxr.io to create an account if you don't have an account yet, because that is the starting point for the session itself. So ensure you go over to swiftxr.io and create a SwiftXR account. Okay, so let me just share the screen here. Right, so looking at this, we're going to be going over how to, create products using SwiftXR and showcase them on your Shopify account. So to do this, ensure you do have your Shopify store as well set up. And I would be using this demo store for us. And it's a brand new demo store without anything at the moment. So I would first things first show us how to add a product, a normal Shopify product, and also for each product you can add a 3D product entry that allows you to showcase 3D products for the different products that you share on your store. So starting with that, if you were to create a product, you would just quickly go over to product here and we would create a basic robotic arm product here. So let's say we're selling a robotic arm. We could do robotic arm and let's just create a product here. And this is a product. So this is basically just setting up a product. And let's give it an image here. I would get the image for our product here and just drag it in. There we go. Right. So I have an image for the product now, and probably you have a price already, and we could just set that as the price. And yeah. And now that we have this, let's just save. We have our product now. And if you are not using SwiftXR and you wanted to view your product, this is what your product would look like at the moment. So if we go over to the online store and let's try to view the store. So you have like the demo page here, and if you scroll down, we have this the product here, right? The robotic arm. And if we click on this, at the moment, what we just have here is a basic image of the product itself. And sometimes your users or your customers might be very curious as to how the product would actually look like in their environment so they can view this using augmented reality. So a typical example is a furniture, right? If you were selling a furniture in a store like this and you wanted your users to see how it would look like in their space, you could use a tool like SwiftXR to get this done. Right. So now that we've been able to do this, the next thing we would want to do here is add the SwiftXR app to our to our demo store here on Shopify. And to do that, you will just scroll down in your dashboard here and go over to add apps, and you would search for the SwiftXR app. So let's just search for the SwiftXR viewer. Right, so you should see the SwiftXR viewer here, and once you get there, just click on add app and it would add it to your demo store, and all you have to do is install app. So now having added the SwiftXR viewer, this allows you to create a 3D product entry for your products that you have on your store. So to create a 3D product entry, first things first, you need to link your SwiftXR account to your Shopify account as well. So if you have not done this yet, if you don't have a SwiftXR account, quickly go over to swiftxr.io and create an account. So go over to swiftxr.io, create an account, and once you do that, it should take you to the SwiftXR hub. And in the SwiftXR hub here, you would want to generate something called an API key. And that API key gives you access to your SwiftXR accounts directly from the Shopify store. So to do that, go over to Manage User Settings, and under User Settings, you can create an API key here. And mind you, the API key is only shown once. So when you create your API key, you can only copy it once. So be careful of that. And once you enter your API key name here, so let's just call this SwiftXR demo Shopify. And you have to be careful as well because the API key is very, very important. So I would just be doing this off screen, right? But once you click on create and view, it should generate an API key for you. So now I have the API key generated here and I have it copied. So once you have it copied, go back to your Shopify store, go over to settings and put in your API key here. And once you have your API key in here, just click on update and that should add your API key to your Shopify store. And with this now, if you click on create 3D product entry, it then allows you to create your product. But before then, we still have to create our SwiftXR 3D product itself. So let's just click on go to SwiftXR hub, and that should load our hub directly from the Shopify store itself. So to create a new project on SwiftXR, for those of us that are very new to the platform, all you have to do is click on create project, and in here you can start off with a blank project, or rather still select a template depending on the use case you're looking out for. So for my use case right now, I want to showcase a 3D product, which is our robotic arm, right? Just like what we have here. So I would use this 3D product showcase template. So I can rename this to robotic arm demo. And you can give your project a description as well. And let's hit create. So now, if you've not used the platform before, there are a few, guides and steps to help you get started and just have a quick tour of what the SwiftXR interface really is. So what we will just do here now is let's quickly take a look at setting up a really simple SwiftXR project here, and we would be using this default robotic arm, right? So one thing you can do with your templates as well is you can actually clear it and start from scratch, depending on what you're really looking out to do. And for now, with the 3D product I want to showcase, I just want to show the 3D model itself, right? So all I have to do here now is I will just empty my canvas for now and just drag in. Let me go over to my files here and just drag in that robotic arm. That's all I want to have here. basically. And you could give this a bit of touch as well using our design um, component here to maybe add an image or just give the background a color here. So I could just give the background a little bit of color in here just to support the visuals. And let me just get a much closer color. Yes. So with something like this now, we can then go ahead and publish your project. And let's just hit publish project. And with that, you have a 3D product that you can showcase on your website already with just a few clicks. And what we then want to do is we want to copy the code, the link to the project itself, and we would be using that link to create a product entry. So let's click on create 3D product entry here. And with that, now we can say robotic arm 3D. So that's a robotic arm. And it way asks for the SwiftXR URL. You then want to paste in the URL you just copied. And now that you have that, you can then assign a product from your store to that 3D product entry that you are creating. So let's select a product here, and it showcases the robotic arm products that we created at the start of this live demo. So let's click on add. And now that we have that, let's just hit save. So once we save that, you can see our product in here as well. So you can then now see this product on your web page. So if we then now go over to our online store, what we've done right now is just to assign that 3D product to our product on our store. If we reload here, you can see that we are still unable to see anything related to that, right? Then to set that up with our product, we would have to customize our product page. So to customize our product page, let's go over to theme here and let's go over to customize. Right, so under here now you can customize your product page. So let's go at the top here at this drop down and go over to product and select our default product, which is this robotic arm. So here's what the product page looks like at the moment with just some demo info. And this is basically it here live, right? So what we then want to do is we want to also add a 3D products that we just assigned to this product in here. And to do that, what we then want to do is scroll down here at the left side of our screen and select add section. And in here, you want to look for the SwiftXR viewer that you just added as an application. Select that, and that will add it as a section. And if you just scroll down here, you can see the assigned product in here that allows you to view that product in 3D. So now that we have that, you can just drag the product wherever you want it to be. So for this, we will drag our product to the top of our page here. So that way you see the product first, right? You see the product first before you're able to buy. So that gives the customer, the user of your someone who is visiting your store, the idea that they can view that product in 3D and even in AR or VR. So with this, what we then now want to do is hit save, and in just those few steps, we then now are able to view that product in here as well, just so you can see here. So you're able to view this product on the page here. So you can see how this looks like. And if you enable AR mode from SwiftXR, you can view that product on mobile and view that particular 3D model in AR directly on your mobile phone. So if we go back here let's quickly head over to um, our SwiftXR, what's it called? Our SwiftXR home itself. That way, where our apps, if we just quickly go over here and go over to our SwiftXR hub, and let me open up this, you can also enter full screen to take advantage of the entire screen itself. And let's just open up this project here. So if you go over to um, our settings here, you can see we have the AR button here. So that means if you are on mobile, you would be able to view this particular product in AR. So also, you then want to ensure that in your properties here, you have support AR mode enabled as well. So that way, everything works properly. But if you don't want that particular product to be viewed in AR, you can just uncheck support AR mode, and that product would only be seen in 3D. So with that, we've been able to create our store with a product that has a 3D model for it with just a few clicks. So moving on, what if you wanted to take it a step further and use more 3D, not just with your products, but with the design of your Shopify store itself? You could also go over to, let's head back here. You could also go over to your online store and customize pages like your own page, for example. And let's say you wanted to, instead of having this just this image banner here, you could make use of the SwiftXR app itself to create an image along with a 3D model that you can showcase. And looking at that, we will just go over to the SwiftXR hub once again and create a new project. And in there, we would create a really, really basic SwiftXR project that we can use for that. And this time around, this would not necessarily be a 3D product entry because it's going to be used for something different, but it still follows the same principle. So let's create a project here. And for this, I would be creating a blank project. And let's just call this home page. All right, and let's hit create. So we have our empty page here, and I would just enter full screen. Sorry about that. Okay, so now in here, SwiftXR also gives you access to, thousands, millions of 3D assets directly from the platform, just like Isiak said earlier. And with Sketchfab, you can actually do this. So if you go over to our, what's it called? Our components here, and go over to stores, you should see the Sketchfab model, and this allows you to bring in Sketchfab models into your SwiftXR account. And once you drag this in, you'll be prompted to log into your Sketchfab account. And once you're logged in, you should be able to get a 3D model in here. So let's log in. So I will just do that off screen. So while I do that, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we would be happy to um, answer as well. Let me just that and paste on another. Let me just. Okay, and let me just use Let me just quickly show us that in here. Having login issues with my Sketchfab account in there, but to do that quickly, let me just show us how to do it from. I am logged in here already, so let me just show us. From here, click on create and let's just go over to stores, Sketchfab, and I am logged in here as well. So I was having issues logging into my Sketchfab account from the other browser. But in here, you can search for 3D models. And if you look for, let's say, car, for example, brings out a list of different cars and you could just, add that to your project itself. So I would look for something that's relatively small here and just click on download, and that should add the model to our SwiftXR account, and you can publish this and view it on the web as well. Okay, so moving on back to our home page here, I can delete this and I would be showing us how to use the Ready Player Me component here to create a much more interactive um, SwiftXR project here as well. So let's click on Ready Player Me and just drag it into our scene. And you would be required to sign in here as well. So I will just do this here and I can just quickly. So I will just sign in here to Ready Player Me. And all right then. So I would be logging in and I have a few avatars in here that we can select from, or rather still you can create a new one, right? So I have quite a number of avatars here and it's just taking a bit to load, but I will just select one and get it to, you know, load into our scene itself. So while that is loading, once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So I have my 3D model here and I will just click on next and that will get it into our SwiftXR editor. Great. So now that you have something like this, right? If you have your 3D model, you can set animations for it. And in here, I would go over to animation and I could select the wave one and animation here. And that allows us to create just this really basic but interactive 3D here. And instead of having a white background, I would add a product image or a banner image in there so we can use that as well. So I would say, let me just get an interesting image here. So I will just generate text to image. So while I get an image for our background here, if there are any questions at all, please feel free to ask. And also, if you're encountering any issues using the app on Shopify, please feel free to just drop it in the chats as well. And we will just respond to that while I generate my image here. So I have a very, I would say, weird image, but yes. So how do you add an image as a background to your SwiftXR app here? To do that, all you have to do is go over to the design tab, and under design, go over to background, scroll down in here, and you would have the background image. So click on the plus icon here, and in here you can select the images button, and with this you can add a certain image, right? So I will just drag and drop the downloaded image in there, right? So I have this image and that I would select. Now, when you import it, you might see it repeated like this. And what you want to do is go over to that image section and change it from repeat to no repeat. So that way that image does not repeat. And you can set that image to the center and maybe allow it to cover the entire space. So now we have our 3D character along with the background that you can use in your own page. And probably if you had a custom brand image that you wanted to use for your store, this is where you would want to apply it as well. And now that we have this, I can select this little image here and even remove it. So it's fully your brand, right? And with this, let me take this out of my screen. Right. So with this now, we can publish our project, this project here, and use it as our home page on SwiftXR. So hit publish and click on publish project once again. And now once we have this, we can copy our link. And this time around, instead of creating a 3D product entry, what we will do is we would go back in here and go over to our online store and customize our we would customize the home page here. So instead of using something like this image banner, right, you can just delete that section. And instead of having that, you can then um, let's add a new section here. So let's go add section and scroll down, select the SwiftXR viewer, right? And once you have that SwiftXR viewer selected, enable optional link below. Select the enable optional link below checkbox here and paste in your copied SwiftXR link. And once you have that, what you then want to do is click on save. And once you save that, you should see it load up here, right? So now you can go back and under apps here, we want to take this guy to the top of our home page instead of using that image banner. So what we can do is we can drag our entire app here to the top. So now in your store, you have this welcoming banner instead of just a default basic image. And now we can save this. And if we just exit here and view the store, this is what our store now looks like at the start. So you have the hello welcome page, and you can then go over to the product you want to purchase, and you can see the 3D model of the product you want to purchase. And um, if you're on mobile, you could view that in AR as well, right? And there we go. So now we've been able to, see how we can make use of this on our Shopify store. So let's take it a bit forward, a bit extra. And what if you wanted to have a bit of text in here as well? So instead of doing that from Shopify, you can also do that from your SwiftXR hub on Shopify here. So let's open that up and go to SwiftXR hub. We can select that home page project, enter full screen. Sorry. And in here, there's also the text component that allows you to, add a text component onto your project itself. So we could just add um, just the basic text component at the top here. And let's make this bold. And we could just say, welcome to our store. And now let's make changes to the text that we have here. So to do that, go over to typography And we could start by changing the text color and maybe give it a green. Do not mind my color choices, they're bad sometimes, but we can change the font as well and maybe increase, make it bold, and let's increase the font size a bit. So does a font size of 20 look like? Still small and maybe too big. So let's do 50. And that's a really bad color choice there. I would say that's a really bad color choice there. But what if we um where is our let's select our text, and what if we gave it a better color, I would say, and maybe another font. Yeah. Or let's just give it a white. Nah, that's not nice enough, I would say. Okay. Yeah, now that we have this, let's maybe give a bit of a background color to it as well. So I could then now do this as green actually. Maybe just a little bit of green and make this a white, right? And I could just select our guy here. Yeah, and move it down below. So now that we have this, actually, now that we have this, we can then go over to update and you can update your project. And without having to go over the process of, adding that um, link again, if we just wait for this to update, let's just give it a little while. Now that that is updated, if we go back to our store here, where is the home page itself, you can see that we now have welcome to our store here. So without having to change that, we have that in here as well. And there we go. So with SwiftXR, you see how you're able to customize things within your project easily. And with that, if there are any questions at all, we would be happy to answer them as well. And one last thing I would just like to show us before we round up is the VR component. So we also have a VR component that allows you view your product in VR, and this is something we are going to be expanding on in the coming um, workshop sessions as well. So stay tuned for that. So with the VR model viewer, if you drag that into your project, it basically allows you to view spaces in VR on the web. So if I um, get a 3D model and just drag it in here. So let me try to see if I can get a Sketchfab model here. Right, I'm not logged in. So I will just quickly do it from the other browser that we had shown earlier. Right. So in here, I can delete this, go over to 3D VR model viewer, and go over to the stores here. And I could just look for a room, and let's get this basic room in here. So let's say you wanted to showcase spaces that you want your users to have a look at as well. You can use something like this. And now that you have this, right, you can then just go over to click on publish. And if we publish this should allow you view that particular space in VR. So for store owners that might have spaces, or you have things in spaces that you want to share, you can use this as well. And once you click in view in VR, you're able to view the entire space itself in VR, Right. So this is the space we just downloaded, and that allows you view the entire space itself in VR. So for store owners who might have spaces that you maybe have artworks or so that you want to showcase, you could have them in a space like this, or rather still, you can make use of our artwork component as well that allows you to create artwork. And let me just remove this. And this allows you to create an artwork and publish it so people can view your artworks in their own spaces as well. And with that, that comes to the end of today's session. If there are any questions, concerns, or inquiries that you would like to share with us, please feel free to do that. And you can join our Discord channel as well to get more updates from the developers and the engineering team working on SwiftXR, um, and meet other creators like you. And thank you once again. And yeah, I can stop sharing my screen now, and I will bring back Isiak so we can round this up. Okay. Oh, you're still mute.
I
Oh, okay.
mean, that was an interesting one. Well done to sing. Like this is I've not actually used I've not added background to an avatar before, and that looks like so the way the feel where the avatar is looking like it's standing on one platform over there,
Mhm.
that looks really, really cool. And I will be looking forward to what people are going to be creating these days. Going forward, yep.
Awesome. Thank you. So, if there are any questions at all, please feel free to drop them in the chat. And although we have received some questions from the Discord about some of the things you can use, and that was why we did share just a bit of how you can use the VR model viewer as well. And also, if you're running into any issues at any point in time, for those of us that might be watching this at a later date, please feel free to use the help section on our Discord, and we will just get a link to our Discord in the chat as well, and you can use that to join in. And please feel free if there are any questions at all. We would be happy to answer them as well.
What other thing that kind of always gets to me, especially when it comes to Swift. So even like this is something that we are all working on, in the background. But again, like looking at it from a thought, like a user perspective, is how much work has actually gone into being user focused and user centric. I know that we are always trying to get feedback from the community, trying to hear from our users. And the last time we were at one event like that, it was very interesting what people are already saying about this. And you want to think about, like, wow, why isn't everybody else not trying out the platform? So that is really, really an interesting one. And I think that is something that, maybe going forward, that's one of the things that we are, especially like look at Shopify. It's like we just took the entire SwiftXR and we put it on Shopify saying that, what, everybody, we are bringing our platform to you where you currently are at and you can start using it.
Awesome. We have quite an interesting question in the chat, and it says, "Can it be implemented on a regular shop site, like some of us moving from Shopify to our own personal site?" Absolutely, yes. You can use the SwiftXR projects that you deploy to on your website as well, on your personal website. And this is something I use on my own personal website at the moment. So you can embed as an iframe. So let me quickly share my screen once again and just show us a quick tip on how to do that. So if you have a model like this, you can easily get what's it called? You can easily get the link to the model and embed it as an iframe on your project, not the HTML and CSS source though. Let me see. Where is that? So yeah, you can copy the link actually and just get it on your website itself. And let me just quickly show us that. Let me see. So here's my personal website, and here is a SwiftXR model in here as well that does that same action. So it is very much possible to do that as well. And it was basically the iframe of the project that was embedded on the website. So that's one way to go about it. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much for that. And if there are no questions at all, again, I think we can call it a day. And for those of us that might be watching this at a later time, um, we do look forward to hearing your comments, your feedback, and your suggestions via our Discord channel as well. And thank you all so much. Isia, could there be anything from your end before we end this?
Just want to add real quick to what you said about what you showed about the iframe. Again, note that this is on SwiftXR. If you are going to do that, you don't have to go to Shopify for that. So you can just go to swiftxr.io and move to the hub directly from there and start creating your project. It is the same platform, the same UI and the same UX. So just move around and create the things that you want. And if at any time, like Tosin already said, if at any time you are working on this and there's a problem, maybe you are running into any issue, please feel free to reach out to us on Discord or even send an email to support@swiftxr.io. I'm going to drop that email address here. So you can send an email to support@swiftxr.io and we'll be very happy to work with you on getting the issue sorted. So we are very active and we are always looking out for questions and suggestions like this. So let us see what you create. That will be end. I mean that will be all from my end.
Yes. Quick one. To get the iframe itself and not just the link alone, you can actually go over to the export as the HTML option, and you can just scroll down and click on copy embed code. And with this, you're able to embed it on your website itself. So if you don't want to go through the stress of having to do this manually, you can just come over here and copy the entire code itself. Right. And with that, thank you all so much for today's session, and do have a great one. And bye, everyone.
Until the next time, have a good one.